Hey Sam, so like I told you before, I thought you healed really well this game. I mean you were like 90% of the time focused on using your beams. And I thought you hit as many as you probably could have hit in this game given that you weren't in comms with anybody. And it's just like that when you're not in comms with anyone. But okay, so you know what I think about your loadout. And I think you told me before that you used to have this at 3 and this at 3, and then you shuffled it. And then during the whole game, I was trying to decide if it really like was helping you that much having this at 4 and hurting you having this at 2. I feel like it did, but I can't be entirely sure. Like I just feel like the way you played, and it looked like you played kind of scared the whole game. Like for the first half, you didn't left click much at all, which for you is like incredibly strange. I mean, I pulled up your post game stats and you still ended up doing like 40k, which was not insignificant, but for the first half, that like you probably did very very little damage. Uh, yeah. So I think overall, I thought about it more, and it's like you had your beam up so often, and you were just throwing it so often. You were like 90% focus on that, and you could have been doing other things, and maybe you were like using your dash too much as a reset for the beam and not enough as just a movement ability, because it looks like at times you got stuck, quote stuck, not that you were actually stuck there, but you were kind of just in a place and you just didn't move from that place, and it wasn't necessarily a great place to be. So I'll point it out as the game goes on. Let me turn this down.
Vengeance rises.
So, at the beginning of every keep fight for Furia, I know what you want to do. So, the problem is when you want to send a beam up here. So, first of all, I might hold it. That's one choice. Like you could just hold your beam until they actually take damage up here, because I mean this is like round 1, but even every other round, like it's a beam, like they're not gonna really eat through it with caught even, to make the beam more impactful. But you could also just, okay, the other choice, the more aggressive choice, is just to, so you're kind of behind them, which is, you know, typically where you want to be. But then what happens is you end up clipping BK, or like in other rounds, whoever else is here. That's the problem with the beam having like extra radius. You just clip people you don't mean to clip. So what I sometimes do is I run all, like I try to be like up here with these guys, like really forward. I drop the beam and immediately dash out, and so that I make sure the beam lands where I want, and then I'm where I want. So you send the beam, BK clips it. That's not even the problem. The problem is there are people behind you. I'm not sure really what you could have done there. Like maybe dropping down might have saved you, but I don't even think so. I feel like when you were up here and you didn't see anyone, you should have just turned around. But again, I don't know if that really would have helped you. That was more I don't know how you got wrapped so hard. That was a good attempt. Yay, reset. Alright, so honestly that was just a bad start for your team. I don't know what else you could have done. Alright, here, I'll just let this play out a little bit longer. This is all just kind of strange because your team is so split up between the right side and the left side. And then the Cassie was up here, so it was really hard for you to peek the right side. I would have actually liked to see you hit, like, left click the Cassie, like, a little bit. Like, not at the beginning when she just got up here because she was really looking at you, but when you were, I don't even know if you were full health completely, but you should have been able to tank, like, a couple of Cassie shots and do, like, get her down to half to get her out of the fight, which would have helped whoever was here, because I think whoever was here died. Yeah, I don't know. It's just awkward. You're just like, the complete lack of left clicking is weird to me. I would have definitely left click a lot through this sequence. Like, left click Cassie there. Left click her. You are not welcome here. I just feel like you were too passive. I mean, you hit your beams. And also remember, like, I'm sure you do know this, obviously, but, like, just remember that your self-heal, which is kind of puny because you ran it at level 2, but it's on your right click, so don't just worry about beaming. Like, you have to stay alive. See, those are nice left clicks. I can't believe I'm telling you to left click. Like, what is this shit? I don't really understand or like that you're here. I would have preferred to stay top. I just don't trust my team usually to do much or to, like, not completely feed and then I just die down here. This is, like, the least safe place to be. I would have stayed here. I think you have decent sight lines here. Like, you can't see the Ashe, but you can't see the Ashe when you're down here either. You should be able to see a Terminus unless he goes, like further this way, but then you just cross further over. Because, like, Leon's holding top right here, so you should be safe there. I just, like, that Cassie could totally fuck you. I guess he used the cart, but I don't know. Like, you were okay, but I just don't like being there. You could have right-clicked that Terminus immediately after your dash. I'm confused as to why you didn't. Maybe you wanted to save your right-click, but I don't know. It's kind of weird. That beam was useless. I mean, I know your philosophy is like, I have a beam, I might as well use it. And you have it up so often, so who cares? But I like to save my beam until I really need it. I mean, maybe that's because I'm running it at 3 instead of 4, but you wouldn't think that would make so much difference. Sorry for the constant beeping. Good beam. Unfortunate that Term got, like, knocked out of it. Was that Cassie? Yeah, like, I would have preferred to just stay up there again. Like, again, there's no, like, nothing happened from it, but just in general, like, staying up on the top right is just a good place to be. Like, as, I don't know, even as Damba, like, sit here. There's no reason. I mean, like, you're gonna be able to reach everything. Let's see what happened here. Oh, I think I remember what happened at the beginning of this round. I think I liked what you did here. But you didn't do it again, so. Leon should have dismounted, honestly. This is fine. You guys, like, watched flanks better. So that's what I really like that you did. Like, you used, like, you held on to your ult until Inara ulted you so you didn't get ulted. Like, that was really good. Yeah, you're fucked there. I don't know what happened to your team. They just kind of melted / disappeared in other ways. Your team is just losing that fight up there. That's fine as a stun. Sometimes I just, like, left click a doorway if I know they're there, just to, like, deter them from going through it. Or if they want to, they'll just take some damage. That's good, that's good. Good dash there. Good beam. So my instinct is just, you see two people here, and then you have two teammates here, and these teammates are about to take damage, and you just sent your beam. Like, they're kind of fucked. I don't know how else to say that. So my instinct was, you have your dash up. I would have just dashed into here. I'm not here, but hold on. Like, oh, you did it. Okay, good. That's what I would have done too. So I don't know why you're on point. I don't like that. I would have rather just like, because I've died so many times being on point when my tank should have been. Those are good luck clicks. Like, unless it's like super safe. Again, especially because you have no fucking self-heal in your build. Not no, but you know, relatively none. This is fine. Fine. I thought you meant to heal a turn, but it's okay. I assume this BK is an EU player because it said you were in a party with him. That's fine. Hold on. I actually want to see. So that beam was completely useless because everyone was full. I think you meant to send it this way. Maybe you didn't know the Ashe was in front of you. But ideally you would have waited to use that beam. Because there's no, like no one was actually taking damage before that Inara ult, so I would have just held it, and I would have had it for the Inara ult. And that completely negates her ult. I think that hit. No, it didn't. Weird. Okay. Basically, most of the beams you missed were you would send beams from the side. You know how he told me it's easier to con ult from the side? Let me pause that because I want to talk about that play too. It's like totally the opposite for Furia beams. You do not want to beam anyone from the side because they typically walk, like, if you're beaming from the side, most likely they're taking damage, so they're going to be walking backwards. So if you want to, you're going to have to be a little bit more predictive and beam like below, not below, behind them. But yeah, that was, I understand the idea, but either like get better at hitting those or just don't try. I guess it's okay to completely fuck you guys, but let's go back a little bit. I almost think that went, like, you over predicted that. Okay, so you see Inara. I think you just messed up that dash, because I think ideally you'd want to go this way, like away from her, and there's like that well thing over here, so you could have gone this way and then hidden behind it this way. That's what you did. Okay, fine. That's actually fine. Other thing you could have done is, like, your teammates are here and they are peeling for you. You could have just ulted that because Inara solo. Like, why not? I actually probably want to throw my ults right after Inara ulted back there, because that negates the Inara ult once your teammates, because like her ult didn't kill anyone and it wasn't going to kill anyone. It's like to break chokes. You missed that beam, it's fine. Here's an okay ult too. But anyways, if you, because Inara ulted, you guys got pushed back, but before that happened, she ulted, and then you could have just counter ulted her. So when I watched the first time, I didn't know that BK was in your party, so I was like really impressed that he was like peeking you like that for kills, and then I realized, I'm like, okay. He was doing that on purpose because he's in your party. I know you want to hit that term, but it ain't gonna happen. You're so far back. I'm not sure what you're trying to do. Were you trying to just like aim for that term, and it just took you forever to like feel comfortable with hitting him, and then by that time you were just dead? I don't know. Ashe is still like really low behind you. Yeah, that's fine. That's a fine dash. this is just a hard beam to hit. My instinct would have, I don't know if it's a good instinct, but my instinct would have been to dash back onto these stairs to get line of sight on the ash, or at least get a little bit of an easier angle to hit that beam on the ash, and then go from there. I use my dash a lot more liberally than you. I almost use it to, because you know how I notice I like to play really forward as Furia, but then like I play forward, I'm like in someone's face, and I'm tanking some damage, and I'm left clicking some. Hold on. But then I use my dash to get out. I don't know. It's like I'm just in and then I'm out, and then you're somewhat just like in the middle. I don't know. So you know what I said about like I like how you saved your ult for that Anara ult? Because like the thing is you already did that last round, but then you didn't do it this round, and it was like kind of an obvious thing to do. I'm sure you know this. I mean, your team wins, so I guess it didn't matter. No one's zoned. Yeah. So I know you're as support, typically you want to hold point, but in that case it's like you guys won the team fight, but you saw that no one was zoning. And my instinct again is just to don't go to point, for you to just go and keep and heal from like either like top or the right, the place on the right stairs, until you know it's safe for sure. It looked like you guys were safe, but again, no one zoned, so they were respawning. It wasn't actually safe. Yeah, that's it. Like by the time they respawn, you were dead already just because you were on point. That's it. That's fine. I like those dashes. Yeah, sometimes I'll just like use dashes as damage, because they are damage. Yeah. I don't know what you could have done there. I guess your Leon died over on the left, and then they pushed left, and you're fucked. Like, unless you could have helped the fight on the left side more. I don't know how. Like, maybe you could have left clicked them more. That term just avoided that beam. That wasn't your fault. That's good. I would have ulted that. Unfortunately, you don't make it, but it's okay. Your beam, or your term avoided that beam again. I don't know. That was on him too. That beam was, I feel like, unnecessary. But I do see you got it back right away. Yay. Yeah, I just don't like you being down here. I just don't like it. You're both like too safe and yet not safe at the same time. I don't know, man. I'm not sure I understand that dash, but okay. You're kind of just out of the fight. And yet I feel like at any moment they could collapse on you. I don't know. That beam was just a bit off. That was probably on you. Like, you could have easily hit that. Dash. So, you dashed here. I would have dashed here. I feel like Cassie could have finished you off because you just went this way instead of this way, but whatever. Well, that's okay. At this point, I would be making my way up those stairs. Like, you're getting, like, awkward angles on Cassie. Did I say Cassie? I meant Leon. Like, you were just waiting for the fight to come to you and just out of everything. I don't know, man. That's a fine beam. I still don't like you being down here. Why has Cassie not killed you? Dash back. Okay. That Cassie really can't aim or something? Like, I feel like Cassie should have killed you like 5 times already. That is so not a safe place to be. Okay, so the same thing happens here that happened at the beginning of last round. But you don't have your ult here, so it's like, okay, what could you have really done except buy resilience? I would have bought like Resi 2 at this point. I don't know if it would have helped though. Like, you know that Inara's gonna go in with ult because she already did it twice. Like, you know what's gonna happen. I would have, like, stayed way the fuck back. Nice beam there. Your dashes just look a bit awkward overall. I just think you're not comfortable with it because it just, I mean, it is really hard going backwards, and sometimes I don't end up where I mean to. How did that miss? I don't think that was on you. It looked like it would have hit. That one, it like Term didn't want the beam, so whatever. Like, it's okay that you're on point, but like Ashe needs to go zone or like do something so that you're safe. That was a good beam. I hit Term. That was a good ult. You almost hit the really cool hit Stone Anar and what do you call it? Heal Leon beam, but it didn't happen. So yeah, I don't know. Like, you know, basically, I don't like I use my dashes more aggressively to position or reposition. So I position differently from you overall. I feel like you're somehow too close and yet not in the fight at the same time sometimes. I don't know. It's just so weird. And like concretely, what I can say for sure is I don't like it when you're sitting in that lower area when they're pushing into your base. Just stay on the top right. I know I already said that 3 times, but I'm still trying to figure out what exactly is it that I don't like necessarily with your positioning as furia. I don't know. But another thing is you could definitely left click more. You definitely focus so much of your energy on beams, and your beams are very good, but you could be doing other things. You could be staying safe. You could be thinking about where you want to dash to, and like dashing is just something you just have to get used to. Because like I said, it's like opposite of Domba dash. So Domba, you're going forward, and it's much easier to understand where you're going. And Furia, you have to really think about what's behind me, like and then like think about the angle that you're facing before you dash, or the direction that you're facing before you dash, because that's where you're gonna end up. Like, I feel like a couple of your dash angles could have been adjusted, and it just looked a little bit like you were not really that comfortable with it. Yeah, left click more, maybe dash more. But I mean, like, So I thought your dashes looked better as the game went on. You were just like afraid to do anything in the first half. Like you were afraid to left click, you were afraid to dash. It looked weird. I don't think you need to be sending as many beams as you do. That's just my opinion. You don't have to agree. But you could be contributing in other ways, or by contributing, that includes like repositioning yourself and stuff like that. And like right clicking is good too. I know it sounds weird to say like save your beams for tanks, which I feel like you're doing, because like it's the cool thing to like beam your DPS whatever. But honestly, right clicks for DPS are usually enough. Like I thought you were fine. Like I'm not mentioning this as like something you didn't do well, but just as like something I thought of just now, you don't have to right click, or you don't have to beam your DPS or thinking about beaming your DPS, because they're much more mobile and it's a lot harder to hit those. And then yeah, just think about the beam angles when you're sending them out. From the side, it's just harder, and if they're moving a lot, it's just harder. But yeah, strangely, I would recommend you beam less. Do other things more. Yeah. I wish I could have been a little bit more concrete with like what looked weird to me, but even watching it again, I'm like not entirely sure. I guess it's like the places you chose to be, you didn't look comfortable, and then there was that one fight where you couldn't really heal the DPS up top, and then you couldn't really right click, or you couldn't really left click anyone either, so you were just kind of hanging out waiting for stuff to happen, and I just kept waiting for you to die to Cassie, but you didn't, because Cassie sucked apparently. So yeah.